Imagine this. You close your eyes for the last time. The world you know begins to fade, and a profound question lingers in the silence. What happens next? Is it an eternal void, a new beginning, or something beyond what we can even imagine? Throughout history, humans have pondered this question. Philosophers, scientists, spiritual leaders, and everyday people alike have all wrestled with the mystery of death. But what if the answer isn't as unknowable as it seems? In this video, we'll explore what might happen when we die. From ancient beliefs to cutting-edge scientific theories, we'll piece together humanity's understanding of life's greatest mystery. By the end, you might just see death and life in a whole new light, humanity's eternal question. The fear of death is universal, but so is our curiosity about it. Across cultures and eras, humans have sought to understand what happens after our final breath. In ancient Egypt, death was seen as a journey to the afterlife, where one's heart would be weighed against a feather. In Hinduism, the soul is believed to reincarnate, taking on a new body in an endless cycle of birth and rebirth. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism speak of eternal destinations, heaven, hell, or purgatory, depending on how one lived. And yet, for all these beliefs, there's one undeniable fact. No one has returned from the dead to tell us exactly what happens. Or have they? Let's start by examining what happens to the body at death, a process both biological and mysterious. The physical journey of death. When a person dies, their body undergoes a series of changes. The heart stops beating, cutting off oxygen and blood flow. The brain shuts down within minutes as cells begin to deteriorate. Over the next hours and days, the body cools, stiffens, and eventually begins to decompose. This biological process is well documented, but what about the mind, the consciousness? Here's where the mystery deepens. Step 1. The moment of death. Many people who've had near-death experiences, NDEs, describe vivid, otherworldly sensations. Common themes include floating above their bodies, watching medical teams work on them, traveling through a tunnel toward a bright light, feeling overwhelming peace, or encountering deceased loved ones. Scientists suggest these experiences could be the brain's way of processing extreme trauma. When oxygen levels drop, the brain releases a flood of chemicals, creating dreamlike visions. But for those who've had these experiences, they often describe them as more real than life itself. Step 2. Consciousness and the brain. This raises a profound question. Is consciousness purely a product of the brain, or does it exist independently? Some researchers argue that consciousness is tied to brain activity. When the brain dies, consciousness ceases, but others propose theories suggesting the mind could continue in some form. For example, quantum physicist Sir Roger Penrose believes consciousness might be linked to the fabric of the universe itself, hinting at a reality beyond death. Spiritual and philosophical perspectives. Let's shift from science to spirituality. Across cultures, stories of life after death reveal a deep yearning to understand our place in the universe. Step 1. Reincarnation and karma. In Hinduism and Buddhism, death is not an end, but a transition. The soul is believed to move through cycles of life, death, and rebirth, shaped by karma, the moral weight of one's actions. Interestingly, many people report memories of past lives. Some children have described in vivid detail events, places, or people they couldn't possibly know about. Could this be evidence of reincarnation, or is it simply the brain's imagination at work? Step 2. The afterlife. For monotheistic religions, the afterlife is central. Heaven and hell represent moral destinations, where one reaps the rewards or consequences of their earthly deeds. But what about modern accounts of the afterlife? Many near-death experiences describe realms of light and love that align with these age-old visions. Is it possible that these glimpses represent something real, or are they shaped by cultural beliefs? Step 3. Philosophical reflections. Philosophers like Socrates and Plato argued that death might be a return to a greater reality, one where the soul exists in its purest form. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre, on the other hand, saw death as the ultimate end, an event that gives life its meaning by reminding us of its impermanence. Both views challenge us to consider, what if death is less about what comes after and more about how we live now, modern science, and the mystery of death. In recent years, science has made strides in understanding death, yet it has also uncovered more questions than answers. Step 1. Near-death experiences. A groundbreaking study called the AWARE Project investigated people who were clinically dead and then resuscitated. Some participants reported verifiable details about their surroundings while unconscious, details they couldn't have known. Does this suggest the mind can exist outside the body? Or is it simply a trick of memory? Scientists remain divided. Step 2. The holographic universe theory. Some physicists propose that our universe might be a hologram, a projection of a deeper reality. If true, this could mean that death is not the end, but a transition to another dimension of existence. Step 3. The energy connection. Albert Einstein famously said, "Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed." If our consciousness is a form of energy, could it persist in some form after death? While there's no definitive answer, the idea challenges us to view death not as annihilation, but as transformation, the emotional and practical side of death. As much as we ponder what happens after we die, death is also about the living, how we prepare for it, how we grieve, and how we find meaning in the face of loss are deeply human experiences. Step 1. Embracing mortality. The Stoics believed that reflecting on death regularly makes life richer. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." When we embrace the inevitability of death, we're freed from fear and able to focus on what truly matters: connection, purpose, and love. Step 2. Legacy and memory. In a way, we never truly die. Our actions ripple through the lives of others. The love we give, the work we create, and the memories we leave behind continue to shape the world. Step 3. The mystery itself. Perhaps the greatest lesson of death is its mystery. In not knowing, we're invited to live fully, to savor the present moment, and to approach life with curiosity and wonder. So what happens when we die? The truth is, no one knows for sure, but maybe that's the point. Death isn't just an end, it's a doorway, a mystery that reminds us to live with intention and awe. As you go through life, consider this. What legacy will you leave? How will you shape the lives of those around you? And when the time comes to face the unknown, how will you look back on the story you've written? Thank you for exploring this profound journey with me. If you found this video thought-provoking, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be pondering life's greatest question. Until next time, remember, life's mystery is its greatest gift. Live it well.